Hello everybody, welcome back to Knife Craze 2.0, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my top 4 most expensive knives that exist within my current knife collection. Now, this list will comprise of very well known knives and maybe 1 or 2 knives that nobody even thinks are out there, but I highly doubt that's likely considering how knowledgeable the knife community really is. So, starting off in the lowest slot, that's going to be the Buck 120 General. Now, this knife cost me about 104 Canadian dollars. I bought it because I've known it to be a very famous knife. There's a lot of good reviews on it out there, and a lot of people are saying that they've had theirs for years on end, and it's never failed them as long as they took care of it and used it as intended. So I couldn't pass down my opportunity around Christmas time to buy this beautiful hunting knife. Now, I myself don't hunt. I'm more of a collector than a user, but still, I just really wanted to add this beautiful piece to my collection. The second knife in my collection, this is the second most expensive one, that would be the well-known Ka-Bar 1217 USMC fighting knife. Now, this is another absolutely beautiful knife. It comes in this beautiful brown leather sheath, got stacked brown leather handle. Now, while it's not as beautiful as the Buck 120 General, I will say that it is it's a lot tougher. Just for years, the soldiers of both the U.S. Army, the U.S. Marines, and I'm pretty sure all branches of the U.S. military, for years they've been using this knife as their main combat knife, and I don't see them changing it anytime soon, and there's a reason for that. It's because these knives are built like tanks. You could throw this thing at anything. You could dig with it, you could cut wire with it, you could, dig rocks out of the ground with it. You could probably stab it into a steel ammo container and this thing ain't gonna break. So that's another reason why I wanted to get this, and this is the second most expensive knife in my collection. The third most expensive knife in my collection would be the SOG Bowie. Now, the SOG Bowie ran me about $160. Now, keep in mind this is Canadian currency. So it'd probably be a little bit cheaper in the States, and it should be known that I got most of these knives actually off of Amazon. In fact, I got all these off of Amazon.ca. But, I had a Ka-Bar knife, and what I really wanted was a SOG knife to go along with it, because I'm a bit of a history buff, especially when it comes to the Vietnam War, and I always knew that the Marines used the Ka-Bar. But I heard of another Special Forces team, or a Special Forces team from the Vietnam War, and that was MACV SOG. So I found out they had a specific knife they used, and I looked it up, and I said, hey, that's a nice piece. I'd like to add that to my collection. And so I did. Found this on Amazon. This is made by SOG Specialty Knives and Tools, who got their company from the SOG Special Forces team. And here's the knife. Absolutely beautiful leather sheath. Came with a sharpening stone right there in that front pouch. It's a little bit smaller than the Ka-Bar, but still a very beautiful knife. Look at that. That is a fine piece. Beautiful clip point blade. Bring that tip down to an incredibly sharp point. Multiple choils on the top of the blade for grip. Nice leather stacked handle similar to the Ka-Bar. Absolutely beautiful. I love the feeling of this thing in my hand. I absolutely love this knife. So that is my third most expensive knife. Now, before I go on to the last one, I want to ask you guys, put in the comments what your most expensive knife is, and I want to hear a yes or no on should I do a video series where I pick out my top knives every year, because I'm really interested in doing something like that, something like my top knife picks for 2018. If you're interested in that, please let me know in the comments. Okay, now, on to our final most expensive knife. The fourth and final most expensive knife I own in my entire collection would be none other than the SOG Demo Fixed Blade. Now this here cost me about $230, and I know that's a high price to be paying, but I heard about this knife actually from Call of Duty Black Ops, and I don't want to sound like a mall ninja or any of that crap, but years ago I was playing Call of Duty Black Ops, and the first one, and in this one mission where they're like swimming through a creek or something, one of them pulls out a knife, and it said SOG knife on it. So I started playing the game again about a year ago, and I saw that it said SOG knife. And keep in mind, it was at this point, much like now, that I was really into knives. And I thought, I wonder what the SOG knife is in real life. So I looked it up, and I found the results for this knife, but at the same time, I found this one. Turns out there were multiple designs, and this is one of them. And I thought, that's a nice knife. I wonder if it's still made. Lo and behold, I went on Amazon and there it was, the SOG Demo. Now, the SOG Demo is one of the rarest Special Forces knives in the world. It is incredibly rare to find a real-life one. Well, this is a real-life one, but I mean one from the actual Vietnam War. Incredibly rare to find one of those, because most of them were made to be destroyed or have deniability behind the U.S. making them. So you're not going to find a lot of them. Because like I said, it was Special Forces. It was a SOG knife. The U.S. government didn't want a bunch of them floating around after the war. So later on, SOG actually made a reproduction. And now this is a reproduction. Okay, now even though it's a reproduction, this knife is still very rare. And from what I understand, SOG Specialty Knives and Tools no longer produces this model. But if you can find it on Amazon, go for it. Buy it. It's an excellent knife. Absolutely beautiful. It has this very unique shaped blade. Now, a lot of you are probably thinking, no, it's nothing but a drop point. Yeah, but have you ever seen a drop point that isn't a piece of shit like M-Tech, where the entire top of the blade is covered in a razor sharp saw blade? You know, have you ever found one that feels this well made in the hand? Like, this knife is absolutely amazing. The grip fits my hands perfectly. I love this thing. So, so much. And I mean, just like the previous knife I showed you, this one right here, this one also has a black leather sheath with a sharpening stone in there. And the sharpening stone's a pretty decent stone. And this thing just has a wicked edge on it. I never use any of these knives except for the buck, because I just want to maintain them. I want to preserve them, because, you know, it could be one day they don't make these knives anymore. And considering that the Ka-Bar knife, that the SOG knife, that, you know, even the buck, considering that these knives are, in a way, part of history, you know what I mean? And, like, some of these have actually been used in history before in wars, I just think it's important to preserve that. Not the violence of war itself, but just to preserve the history of the knife. And I think that's something that only serious knife lovers will understand. So, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Have a great night, good day, good afternoon, whatever time you're watching this video at. And like I said, leave in the comments what your most expensive knife is, and if you'd like me to do a series called My Top Picks for this year. Because I really want to do it, but I want to make sure you guys want it too. See you later, rock on, and have a great time.